In the meantime, we want to talk about a very serious issue, and that's World War III, because it's trending on social media. And whether the posts are meant to be funny, dismissive, or serious, it is out there for children to see.
So the question, just how do you talk to your kids about the conflict with Iran and the rash of World War III posts? Well, clinical psychologist Dr. Jeff Gardier in studio now with some advice for parents. So good morning to you.
Good morning to both of you.
You know,
yes.
TV, radio, social media, word of mouth, it's almost impossible to avoid this topic coming up for children not to see it. So do you have that conversation with them prior to it even becoming a thing on social media?
Well, it's going to become a conversation anyway. And therefore, once they're on social media, you're compelled to speak with your kids. But that's why it's so important that you listen to what it is that they have to say, engage where they are before you start the conversation.
I think that's really important, because I think a lot of people, especially parents, think, okay, well, I got to find an answer for them. But maybe a lot of it is just discussing it.
Exactly, getting it out there. It's not just about listening to your kids, but I think it's also about being honest with them, taking hold of the conversation and making sure that they're able to express themselves in any way possible. And I think it's really important that as adults that we not freak out, because our children watch us. So the way that we handle this kind of a possible World War III situation is by being level-headed. And I think it's also important that we take control of the language that we use, because we see on Twitter, we see on social media, people using that word fear.
So give me an example.
Yeah, give us a good go-to answer if your child says, are we going to be in World War III? Are we going to World War III?
Right. Well, I think, first of all, just be as honest as possible and say, we don't know. I don't know. But we will keep you as safe as possible. And so with this idea of using language, get rid of the word fear and use words like it's a challenge, it's a concern, and that even changes behavior. But you're absolutely right. Using this example of letting them know that you're being totally honest with them, I think reassures them that you're not trying to sell them a bill of goods.
Yeah, you know, Marisol Castro, she's a new host in the 9 a.m. hour.
Yes,
she has a 13-year-old who came home and said, am I going to be drafted? So there's a lot of fear amongst that term, too, the draft, and can I be drafted? The website crashed in itself, so how do you address that?
Well, and the reality is, I have an 18-year-old son, and he had to register for the draft. And so his question to me was, are we going to go to war? Again, the honest answer is, I don't know, but if that does happen, know that there are trained women and men in the military who will guide you, that we will be as supportive to you as possible, that you can't be completely safe in the world, but the important thing is we will be together as family.
Now, some children may not know how to verbalize it. They manifest it in other ways. Is there something you should look out for? Maybe they're showing signs of fear or anything like that?
Yeah, exactly. And there is a lot of anxiety with kids, and they don't say, Mom and Dad, I'm anxious. What they do is they may become angry, they may start crying, they may get really focused on their device and not really talk to you. But I think what we really see is the regression, where if they're potty trained, now they're no longer potty trained. So that's a key thing you should look at. And of course, sleep and appetite disturbance.
All right, and that device can be the root of all the problems anyway, because that's where they're getting that information from to begin with.
And so they're stuck in it, so you've got to get them out of it and focused on you.
Dr. Gardier, thank you as always.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.